Welcome back, everybody. The Angels return today in a series against an AL West rival, the Houston Astros, who right now have stamped their name as the top team in the division at 29-18, while we come in struggling as of late, now 7 games below 500 at 20-27 on the season so far in 2024. It's not going to be an easy series, but here's our first chance to get a look at some of these top prospects. We're going to have the 8th overall pick and the 8th pick in every round going forward in our first ever MLB draft. Kevin Marquez is the first overall selection as of right now, the top guy on the boards. He's a first baseman with a really high potential, but there's also a lot of pitchers here in the top 10 as well, including a couple of closers. But I probably am going to focus on position players over pitchers, at least with our first pick, because that's where we really have no good prospects, and we need some to have a team that can actually, hit the ball and bat. So with Kevin Marquez here, we only got him 10% scouted, so we're going to get him more fully scouted later on in the episode, but for him right now, you can see why he is supposed to go first overall. He's got really good defensive and offensive ratings, really more offense than defense, but could still be a really good fielder at first base. There's also Will Juarez, who is supposed to go at pick 8, which is where we are, obviously. He plays at second base, can probably play a couple of other infield positions, but don't know about that yet. But he's got more contact and power, but also really high speed and stealing. Definitely going to focus some scouting on him later on in this episode as well. But we sim a little bit to get to our next round of scouting, and we are now 10-11 after starting the season 6-6. We get Juarez up to 95% scouted percent here. He's got a pretty big potential range, but he'll have a pretty decent overall. And it looks like he is going to have more contact than power. So definitely more of an on-base kind of a guy than a slugging guy. But the speed is there, the stealing is there, and he really has some good future projections for fielding as well. So he would be definitely a really solid option. He's only 18 years old too, so those ranges will be pretty big for a couple of years. We just won't really know. Then you got Wiley Espinoza, who can play first base and left field. He's got a lot better offensive ratings right off the bat and for the future than Juarez does, but the defense leaves a lot to be desired. He's also not nearly as fast as Juarez is either, but Espinoza could be a good fit for a first baseman for somebody that isn't as agile as Juarez is. Now for Kevin Marquez, the projected first overall pick, he's got really good fielding, really good arm strength, good reaction, and really good, just well-rounded offensive attributes. He is 22 years old, so you have him as more of a sure thing. You also got Alex Francisco, who's got more of a low floor, high ceiling compared to Marquez. And I want to get this first pick right, this first round draft pick right. I don't want to screw it up, so I am going to focus for the time being, going forward, on specific prospects hovering around that first pick for at least the next, 2 to 3 weeks, just to see what options there are. So we're going to include a couple of guys on this list for now. But now talking about the farm system and the minor leagues, a couple of updates from the month of April. You got Jake Lee with a sub-4 ERA through 20 innings, but he also issued 6 walks. Starter Travis McGregor in AAA really had a rough time, giving up 10 walks, while shortstop Adrian Placencia in AA raked pretty well, bringing in 12 RBIs over 74 at-bats. Then you have a catcher in AAA, Caleb Hamilton, with a really nice average, with 8 RBIs attached to it. While Ryan Miller, as a reliever, had 4 really strong innings, no runs allowed in April for him. Got to get him some more playing time, maybe. And then in AAA, another reliever, Jimmy Hergetz, with a strong April. 24 strikeouts in just over 24 innings pitched. But now we enter the series against Houston, 20-27. And we have a lot of things to talk about because the team is really struggling. And We are now bottom of the AL West. The A's have a better record than we do at 21-28. And we have the second most runs allowed, only behind them in the division. So if you can't pitch, you can't really win. For the offense, though, Joe Adell has only had 11 at-bats, but he has played well when he's been out there, also slugging very well. But Mike Trout has been the star of the team without question, batting .338, slugging over .700. Nolan Shawnoel is getting on base, but not really drawing too many walks. And Ohtani, Zach Neto, Rendon, they've all struggled since those first, 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Ohtani is still slugging pretty well, but the average has really dropped pretty far. Taylor Ward is also batting pretty poorly. On base percentage is really bad for quite a bit of our right-handed lineup. The only pitchers who are even playing well so far this year are 4 of them. You got Matt Moore, Chase Silseth, Griffin Canning, and Jose Cisnero. Everybody else is really struggling now. Canning, despite the pretty solid ERA, has a fairly high whip at 1.4, but he has kept people off of home plate at the very least. But Estevez has blown 5 saves already, so got to get him out of the closing role because clearly it's not going to work out for him right now. With I think he had 17 opportunities so far and he's blown 5 of them. Sandoval, Detmers, Plesac, Stevenson, all struggling. So a lot of players after a pretty good start, and the first handful of games have really slowed down. So trying to make some adjustments to our lineup. I am going to bring in Luis Rengifo into the DH spot for the right-handed lineup against right-handed pitchers. But we're going to move Ohtani to cleanup and move Rengifo to 8th for now. Because with the good slugging, I feel like Ohtani can still slot in as a really good cleanup batter, with Sano's average being just really bad to start the season. He's got really high power, but we got to get Joe Adell some playing time with that 97 speed. He could be really useful on defense, so going to make him play second base and let Drury slot in there at first base in place of Sano. But for the rotation, I think it's time for Jose Suarez and Tyler Anderson to probably make their way into this rotation and place up Plesac and Patrick Sandoval. I think Silseth and Canning have earned spots to, stay here. And because of his strong start, we're going to move Silseth up to first in the rotation. And we're going to move Canning up to second as well behind him. So 3 southpaws in the rotation right now. You have a lot of options for pitching, but they're all struggling. You really don't actually have that many options. We're going to move Matt Moore to closer as well in place of Estevez. We got to face Christian Javier here in the first game against the Astros. He hasn't gotten off to the best start, but he's still Christian Javier. So first pitch, Nolan Shawnoel flies out right field and is a first out very quickly, but Rengifo has batted very well in his last 10 games, 389 average, despite being, 256 on the season. So Mickey Moniak comes up to the plate and gets a hold of one. It's going back, and this one is gone! And Mickey Moniak opens up the score in here at Minute Maid Park. Astros in their Space City uniforms, but the Angels are on the board. That is how you start the ball game, everybody. It's the high fastball, and he timed it well. We'll take the first run. Now up comes Mike Trout, and he looks at strike 3. First strikeout there for Javier. Next up, Logan Ohtani batting cleanup for the first time this season. Timed it well, but was underneath it. And easy one for Bregman. Inning over. It is Tyler Anderson on the mound today, getting the starts. His 5th start this season. He faces Jeremy Pena first. Grounded to first base. Anderson covers for him, and there's the first out. Next up, Mauricio Dubon, who is off to a rocket-hot start here in 2024, but he grounds out to third base. Now it's the power hitter, Yordan Alvarez. Right to Neto at short. Easy inning here for Anderson. Pretty simple start. We'll take it against a really damn good batting lineup. 1 out for Drury here in the 2nd inning. He gets a hold of one, but not enough carry. And under it is Chas McCormick. Only .212 on the season for Taylor Ward. He sends this one to shortstop. Jose Altuve leads off the 2nd. A rocket grounder to Neto, but he is there to corral it. Altuve is out. A full count brewing here for Alex Bregman. He's always dangerous, but this time he whiffs on the 12-6 curve. First strikeout for 31. That's a 10-inch break right there. That's a beautiful pitch, man. Looks like it'll be over the heart of the plate, and instead it's below the zone. But Chas McCormick sends a deep one to the warning track, but Trout makes the catch. Dangerous one right there, but no hits through 2 for Houston. Luis Rengifo at the plates. And now behind it. Easy one for Caratini. Now back to the top of the lineup. Nolan Schanuel. A little bit too much air under it. That was a meatball and could not do anything with it. We go bottom 3. Caratini off to a horrible start in his 2024 campaign and does not get any better here on the groundouts. Longtime veteran John Singleton next up. And he rolls over it for out number 2. Pretty clean day for Anderson so far until he hits Jake Myers, who has batted very well to start his season. And now Pena. Easy out for Neto. A little flip play to Drury at second base. And Anderson allows one base runner, but gets out of the inning pretty easily. Still 1-0 Angels, trying to add to it here. Not much offense for us until Moniak gets on base again. He's got our only 2 hits so far, and he will slide into second base for a leadoff double. This brings up Mike Trout with a runner in scoring position. But behind the high fastball, Javier's 4th K. Hoppy next up, and we got no help from the umpire behind home plates. I don't know what the hell he's seeing there. And then Hoppy grounds out. Altuve out number 2. Oniak advances to third base. Can Rendon bring him home? That was ugly. That was very ugly. We get nothing out of it. We strand Moniak, and Mauricio Dubon is going to beat this throw to first base. A deep one to the shortstop, and now Alvarez a bit underneath it. Schanuel can saunter over, and he pulls down the first out. Anderson still under 40 pitches. Double play ball, 3, 5-3, and the inning is over. Even his pitch count low so far, gotta like that. No runs allowed through 4 for Tyler Anderson. But I was starting to have some trouble, folks, with these low off-speed pitches, especially these low sliders. That was Drury swinging out, and now Taylor Ward whiffs on the next at-bats. Javier's 7th strikeout, and now another one on Rengifo, and things are quickly spiraling out of control for this batting lineup for Los Angeles. We go bottom 5. Full count once again for Bregman, and this time he draws the walk. Did not chase the 12-6 curve this time. That brings up Chas McCormick, trying to go high and inside, and instead it's off the foul pole and gone. And Houston jumps in front off the McCormick dinger. 97.7 off the bats. And just perhaps not the right pitch call. Caratini on base with the walk. The second one issued by Anderson so far, as Singleton is going to fly out to Moniak in right field. Caratini holds at first base. The 2-1 to Myers. Chop, but Rendon blocks it, but no play there at first base. So 2 men on. A jam here for Tyler Anderson, trying to play it safe. No double play there for Shawnuel. The runners advance with 2 outs. First pitch to Mauricio Dubon, and that one's gonna get down in right center, and 2 more runs will score. Moniak finally tracks it down, but a stand-up double for Dubon. It's 4-1 Houston. The 9th RBI double this year already for Dubon, who has gotten off to a fantastic start. And that will do it for Anderson here. No runs allowed until this inning. But he's relieved by Luis Garcia, who really has not had too much playing time thus far. Only 3 appearances and 2 total innings. So a 3-2 count to Yordan Alvarez. He fouls it off, trying to end the inning, and he looks at strike 3. A sinker that paints the edge. All right, 4 innings left, and no runs for us since the first. Gotta do something here. But Zach Neto on a good pitch. Can't do anything with it. Nolan Shawnuel with 1 out. But he flies out to left. Two for 2 so far for Moniak, and might be 3 for 3 here. But Chas McCormick is underneath it. Too much air under some of these and too many strikeouts for my liking, obviously. But had a couple of nice swings so far that we just have not really put in actual play. Or at least gotten down for a base hit. 2-2 pitch to Alex Bregman, and he hammers one into left field. Taylor Ward tracks it down, but not before Bregman gets all the way to second base. So a runner in scoring position, and a real chance here to tack on one more run for Chas McCormick, who homered back in the 5th. Now in the 6th, it's underneath Shawnuel's glove. Bregman will round third base. Moniak's throw has no chance to get home in time. McCormick's going for third base, and he is easily tagged out. So good job there, but this one just goes right underneath Shawnuel's glove. He's got to corral that one, man. Could not have those mistakes, especially with somebody in scoring position. Now another walk for Victor Caratini. 0 for 2 so far, and now 0 for 3 for John Singleton. He strikes out, and the inning is over, but not before the Astros extend their lead 5-1. Mike Trout, once again, over top of the slider, also in front of it. 1 out for O'Hoppe, and we finally draw a walk, but I gotta do a better job of just being patient here and waiting for actual good pitches and actually swinging once they're there. The 10th K for Christian Javier, that will end his ball game. His pitch count got up there, but a really solid performance by him, only 1 run allowed. Did a great job after the home run to Moniak. He's relieved by JP France. And he gets ready to swing on a 2-1 count. It goes to 2, man on first. And I guess he went around. Really poor plate discipline here from the entire Angels lineup. Wonder whose fault that is. Jake Myers down on strikes here in the 7th. Just the second K for Luis Garcia. And now he gets Pena to send a little one-hopper to Drury at second base. Dubon back up, and he chops one. Rendon is there. We're out number 3. A quick 7th inning here for Garcia. But when you can't bat, you can't win the ball game. Can Taylor Ward give us a spark? That's a meatball. He sends one to center field. This one's got some carry, and it is gone. No chance of that one coming down. And we have life here in Houston. 437 on a perfect time swing. Rengifo, though, in front of the circle change. Another one behind home plate for Victor Caratini for the first out. This is the 9th batter, Zach Neto, off the glove of Bregman, but he is able to get the loose ball, and he gets out number 2. In comes Josh Hader now, but he hasn't had the greatest start to his season, but he can still pitch pretty well. Sean Noel is out. Another low slider. This is the death of me. It has to be. 5-2 with 6 outs between us and a loss. Or really 3 outs. This is Altuve off of Garcia's pitch. It's gone. He immediately responds to Taylor Ward's solo shot with one of his own. 108 off the bats. That's it for Garcia. Matt Moore checks in to hopefully close this game out for us. Won't count as a save opportunity, obviously. So not considered his first. Bregman, though, to the warning track. And that one is hauled in by Taylor Ward. 2 outs for McCormick on a 3-0 count. Low fastball puts him on base. Next up, Caratini, who takes a shot on the back of his left knee. His 3rd time reaching base with only 1 real at-bat, but Singleton down on strikes again. But Jose Altuve extends their lead back to 4. Three outs left for Los Angeles. And once again, no help from the umpire. That's got to be a ball. But instead, it's not. And now, once again, out in front of a low off-speed pitch. 0-2 to Trout. Behind in the count. If it's low, I'm chasing it. You can bet your ass on that. Ohtani, the last chance. And the game is over. Singleton underneath it. That's the ball game. A 6-2 loss. The 3rd win for Javier and 3rd loss for Tyler Anderson. I just gotta be better here, man. I just gotta be better. Obviously, a pretty ugly game. I mean, you can see it right there in the box score with 14 strikeouts. They are climbing every episode, folks. I will put myself in the batting cage here soon to really lock in next time. But issued 4 walks, only got 5 strikeouts, and the Astros are a really good batting team. They're a scary line to face. So here we go in game 2. Can we prevent a series loss here? Let's find out. They're going to have Hunter Brown on the mound today. His whip is up there, but a 5-1 record and 9 starts, so they've played pretty well with him as a starter. But Nolan Shonowell opens up with the base hits A weak one off the knuckle curve, but it still gets through for the leadoff single. But Moniak is back to looking at strike 3. For strikeout for Hunter Brown. And Trout out in front here on the splitter. He's down in the count, but now it goes full. And on the same kind of a pitch, he grounds into a double play to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the first, facing Corey Julks. His average gets lower on the strikeouts. Got Jose Suarez starting today as he issues a walk to Jeremy Pena. Kyle Tucker chased the outside slider, and that will end the first. Brandon Drury with 2 outs in the second. Not get a hold of that off-speed pitch. That was a very good ball from Hunter Brown, but got to make contact next time. Another walk for Houston. Bregman this time will reach to open the second. That brings up Yainer Diaz, my bad, and he flies out to Trout in center field. Jose Abreu rolls over it. No double play for Rendon. So a man on second and 2 outs. And thankfully, Dubon pops out. So Hoppy is there. And no runs for either team through 2. We go bottom 3, though, after nothing from the Angels. And Jake Myers is retired. Nice slow pitch there from Suarez for his second K. Corey Julks back up, and that one rolls into center field for a single. Ahead in the count, Pena with a high flyer, but it lands in shallow right. And Julks is on second base. Only 1 out for Altuve. And on a full count, it's a grounder right to Moniak. And Julks will score. The throw is just late. Houston strikes first. Altuve gets the RBI. And now runners at the corners for Kyle Tucker, who sends a bomb to the warning track. Moniak is there for the out, but they can tag up. They tack on 1 more run. Well, it's hard to come from behind against Houston, but thankfully the inning is over. Line drive to Rendon will end it here, but damage already done. 2-0, Astros in the lead. Mickey Moniak leads off the 4th and sends an opposite shot to left field. So we're on the board. Once again, it's a Moniak solo shot to give us our first run. And now Mike Trout with the line drive to right field, but an easy one for Kyle Tucker. Essentially right to him. And now Hoppy gotta do better with that kind of a pitch, man. That was right there for you. Timed it well and everything. Just couldn't put enough power behind it. But Rendon will get one to drop in center, and he's on first base with 2 outs. The batting 6th is Drury, but he is jammed. Altuve is there in shallow right for out number 3. Having a real problem so far stringing hits together. This is going to be it for Jose Suarez, who just did not have the stamina to keep going. So in comes Robert Stevenson, who in 15 games has allowed plenty of runs. And the first guy he faces sends it out of the field into the left field stands. A solo shot for Diaz. That's not where I wanted that pitch to be. His 11th homer this season, and we are quickly losing 3-1. Altuve next up, taking the count 2-2, and he chases the pitch, but Hoppy sails the throw to first. And Altuve is safe. Just when you thought things would be pretty simple, we get an error. At least Kyle Tucker's down on strikes. High fastball got him. Second strikeout for Stevenson. As Bregman will fly out to right field. Moniak is there to track it down. Nothing for the Angels there in the 6th inning, so instead it's Jose Abreu with a flare to right field, and that will get down, and he will reach. So 1 out, 1 man on. Dubon underneath Shawnuel's glove, right down the first base line, and runners at the corners once again for Houston. Couple of balls getting by Shawnuel too often. But another liner to third base. Rendon is there for it. 2 outs, 1 man in scoring position. This is Corey Julks. A weak flare to center field, but it brings home the runner. And they extend their lead once again. Estevez will relieve Stevenson here in the 6th. And he gets the ground out from Pena. Neto to first. 9 outs away from another loss against the Astros. Rafael Montero comes in for Houston, having a great campaign so far. A 1.17 ERA and plenty of opportunities. Rendon gets a hold of one, but too much air under it, and he flies out. Drury back up, hasn't reached base so far yet. And another easy one for Jake Myers in center fields. So, no offense from the Angels, but we go top of the 8th. Can Taylor Ward change things? Not quite. Ryan Presley now on the mound for the Astros in place of Montero. Full count to Rengifo. And this one finally gets through between third and short. We got somebody on base, finally. Zach Neto into right field, and this one will get down. So runners on base, only 1 out. Got to do some damage here. Nolan Shawnuel sends a flyer to right. He timed it well. It was a high slurve, but caught at the warning track. Rengifo tags up into third base. So 2 outs, Mickey Moniak, and he give us something besides an ugly swing? The answer's no. Just not able to string together multiple hits, multiple extra base hits, and it's really costing us. So we go to the 9th inning. Abreu is going to try and close this game out for Houston. Mike Trout leads it off. Up 2-1 behind the fastball. Even count now, and we're back to the ugly swings, man. These off-speed pitches are killing me. This is Logan O'Hoppe. I mean, this one, you got to do more with that. That is a meatball right over the heart of the plates. Timed it well and everything, but just got nothing. And now it's Anthony Rendon. Last chance. That's a base hit up the middle. We got somebody on base. Not over yet. Put on your rally caps, folks. We have a shot. Brandon Drury says, no, you don't. Fly ball to left field. And the game is over. The Astros secure the series win. And they're 1 win away from a sweep. Well, I gotta say, it's not fun playing the Astros, especially when they beat you. As bad as they have in the first 2 games, but now we lose 5-13 in Game 3. We drew 6 walks, had 8 strikeouts, but gave up 16 hits to Houston. When you do that, you cannot expect to win. Reed Detmers got hammered in this one. Sandoval came in for less than 1 for 1, and he got hammered. Plesac relieved him, and he also got hammered. Luis Garcia, the only guy to not allow a run, and we lose in just horrible fashion. Houston sweeps us, and now we're 10 games below 500, and now it's time to really think about trading Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon. Not going to make a trade this episode, but it's time to start thinking about what kind of haul we could get. These are the kinds of trades that we have been offered for Mike Trout alone, and this includes prospects and MLB-ready players. Obviously, some of these are pretty crazy, but Mike Trout is the best player in the game still, besides Ohtani, so he would go for a lot. And I want to focus on prospects, but there could be some young players that are in the majors right now who are still young that we could go after. But do we do right by Trout and send him to Philadelphia? I don't want to send him to a place that he probably wouldn't want to go to, but these are all things to consider. What kind of haul can we get, and where does Mike Trout want to play baseball? Where does he want to play playoff baseball? It's probably Philly. But we'll see next time if that actually comes to fruition. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.